Now, this week is going to be quite a heavy one because we will take a look at the annual reports of ASB and ASM. Now, you'll really understand where your money goes to when you invest in both of these unit trust funds. We will also have a look at the current state of the Malaysian market as well as the ringgit's performance. So as usual, not financial or legal advice. Let's get the Malaysian market out of the way first. For those of you guys who have any holdings in Malaysian equities, I think you guys are busy rejoicing right now because the FBMKLCI is up 4.36% on a year-to-date basis. A very impressive performance that has sent it to a 17-month high. Now, a large part of this outstanding performance over here comes from foreign investors. Last week itself, during the Thaipusam week, they contributed to a net inflow of 267.7 million. Yeah, since the start of the year, foreign investors contributed to a net inflow of 630 million in the Malaysian equity market. Now, as compared to local retailers, yeah, we were busy selling. Local institutions, they also sold quite a bit, but on average, they were net buyers, resulting in the total net inflow of 140 million ringgit. So this puts the Malaysian market currently at the fourth when we compare the year-to-date performances versus 11 other Asian indices. Now this data is not the most updated one, it's as of January 26, which puts us well ahead of major markets such as India, Singapore, China, and Hong Kong. So far, this is quite a good start for the FBMKLCI. And some of you guys in the audience may be wondering, hey, Sinji, why you always talk about the Malaysian market? I don't even hold anything in the Malaysian market. I don't even buy Malaysian equities. Well, the performance of the ringgit actually somewhat ties to the Malaysian market, Hey, you see over here, there is some correlation. Hey, whenever the Malaysian market rallies, we tend to expect the ringgit to perform well also. Now, this makes sense because if foreign investors were to invest in Malaysian equities, they would first have to acquire the Malaysian ringgit. And that would lead to increased demand for our local currency, contributing to its strength. But what we are seeing more recently is quite the reverse, which is a very curious pattern. I asked financial advisors and experts, they are unable to explain this pattern in detail also. But anyway, either two things will happen. In the upcoming weeks, the FBMKLCI may retrace, but analysts, they are confident that it will remain above 1,500 points, or perhaps the Malaysian ringgit will strengthen. So now, speaking of currencies, right, Wise could be a good app for you guys to diversify in other currencies. It allows you to spend, save, pay, send, receive, and convert to 50 types of global currencies. And the most important point over here, this app is regulated by Bank Negara Malaysia. Now, a lot of e-money apps are popping left, right, and center these days. And a lot of people are asking me opinions on this app and that app. But the simple question that I ask them is this app regulated and licensed or not? Because if it's not, then it's sort of like a red flag. Because in the event that the company goes bankrupt, you cannot sue anyone, there's no way that you can claim your money back. So Wise, regulated by Bank Negara Malaysia, but the big con over here, despite them allowing you to hold and store different types of currencies, is that they have no invest feature. So meaning that whenever you buy a foreign currency over there, you convert your Malaysian ringgit to perhaps US dollar, you have to hold that US dollar dormant in your bank account. But other than that, Wise is actually quite a good app. I registered for it on Friday. It only took 5 minutes for me to complete the registration process, and within the next half an hour, I got approved already. And the exchange rates are pretty competitive because Wise, they use the market rate or the middle rate, meaning that you don't have to worry between the spreads of buying and selling. And you can see over here, US dollar is 4.7227 as of Friday, compared to Bank Negara Malaysia's exchange rate of 4.7295, which is pretty close. But obviously, they do charge a small variable fee. And this one fluctuates, for the US dollar at least, fluctuates between 0.65 to 0.70%. Now what about the Sing dollar? Well, as of Friday, 3.5354, compared to Bank Negara Malaysia's exchange rate of 3.5408. The fee is slightly higher, between 0.70 to 0.75. Now, another neat feature about WISE is that the minimum conversion rate is only 10 ringgit. And the fees will remain the same. It's not like you convert very little, then they charge you like a 1-2% fee. No. So even if you convert 10 ringgit or 1000 ringgit, the fees will be like 0.75 to 0.75%, or fluctuates depending on which currency you are planning to convert to. So obviously, when we compare it to traditional banks, WISE is most certainly the winner. Okay, so this is CIMB's foreign currency exchange rate as of Friday. If you want to buy Sing dollar from them, yeah, they will sell it to you at 3.5957, which is instantly a 2 to 3% loss. The US dollar, meanwhile, 4.8027. So for those of you guys who are planning to open a foreign currency account with CIMB or maybe any well-known banks just to invest in the US dollar, right? And then you're planning to place it in fixed deposits, right? You may want to consider again because when you start to make the conversion, there is already a 2 to 3% loss. And even though fixed deposits in the US right now, especially CIMB, they're giving 5 to 6% for a 1-year fixed deposit, you have to understand, when you convert, you lose 2 to 3%. When you convert back, you are also losing another 2 to 3%. So at the end of the day, if the ringgit and US dollar doesn't fluctuate, you stay at the same level, then you make no profits at all. Okay, you might even lose some of your money because of this very unfavorable exchange rate over here. So therefore, WISE, even though it doesn't offer you the option to invest your money, it could be a good option to diversify into other currencies just yet. Okay, so WISE also offers a debit card that allows you to spend in over 150 different global currencies. Plus, you can get account details in 10 major currencies, including Sing dollars, British pound, and US dollars. So this means you can receive money just like a local, as long as the transfer is non-wire. But receiving USD wire payments, they charge a flat fee of $4.14. Right, so let's move on to something more interesting. This is ASB's 2022 annual report, which I'm sure the majority of you do not even take a look at it. But anyway, some facts over here. 10.6 million Bumiputras, they have some form of money inside ASB as of December 2022. And the fund size of ASB is a whopping 186.2 billion ringgit. It is actually one of the biggest unit trust funds in the world. And a large portion of these funds come from people who contributed 50,000 to 500,000 ringgit. Yeah, they occupy almost 70% of the funds inside ASB. So the majority of people still think that ASB invests in very safe funds, such as fixed deposits, Malaysian government securities, or fixed income instruments. Well, that's not quite right. In fact, ASB is almost 80% invested in the Malaysian equity market. So it's fair to say ASB is sort of like the backbone of the FBMKLCI apart from EPF themselves. Okay? So the remaining 20 odd so percent goes to overseas investments, ETFs, and fixed income instruments. So out of this 80% equity investment, right, the largest holding of ASB is in Maybank. I think you guys already know about this. I've posted about this several times also. For every 1,000 ringgit you have inside ASB, 170 ringgit will go to Maybank. Next one is Sime Darby Plantation at 73 ringgit. So on and so forth until Maxis Berhad 12 ringgit. So this list is not exhaustive. When you total up these percentages, they do not add up to 100%. So for the sake of tonight's presentation, I only decided to snip out the top 10 holdings of ASB. So the most significant holding over here, Maybank. Let's take a look at it. They are the backbone of ASB. So as of 2023, ASB's dividend 5.25%, which I'm sure you guys know, and the total payout was 9.3 billion, expected to benefit over 10.8 million ASB unit holders. Now, with ASB's holding of Maybank, they own about 3.632 billion Maybank shares, or a 30.116% stake. So yeah, the single largest shareholder of Maybank is undoubtedly ASB. So considering Maybank's 2023 dividend of 59 cents a share, all you need to do is take this 59 cents, multiply it with 3.632 billion shares, and you receive the total dividend from Maybank, which is 2.143 billion, or equivalent to 23% of ASB's total payout. Yeah, so let me just reiterate this whole thing. This 9.3 billion over here, okay, the payout from the dividend from ASB last year, 23% of it came from Maybank. So for every 1,000 ringgit in dividends that you receive from ASB, 230 ringgit belongs to dividends from Maybank, which is pretty mind-blowing. So let's move on over to ASM. Now ASM is quite different, I would say a bit similar to ASB, but albeit at a much smaller size. Here's where the difference comes in. 575,000 individuals, much lesser compared to ASB. The fund size is only 22.6 billion compared to ASB's 186.2 billion. But the pattern is similar. The people who contributed 50,000 to 500,000 ringgit, they occupy a large portion of ASM's total fund size. What about the investment strategies? Also pretty similar to ASB. They are quite heavily invested into the Malaysian equity market, almost 84%. The remaining 16 to 17%, similar to ASB, ETFs, fixed income instruments, as well as other investment assets. But when it comes to their largest shareholding, right, only the top place is the same compared to ASB. You can see over here, Maybank, for every 1,000 ringgit you invest in ASM, 95 ringgit goes to Maybank. But next up, compared to ASB, ASB, the next one, let me just minimize this presentation so that you guys can visualize things more easily. I'll just drag this up really quickly over here. Yeah. So this is ASB's holding, right? The second largest holding is Sime Darby Plantation, then Sime Darby, right? But ASM, it is slightly different. Second largest holding is CIMB Group, the Naga National, Public Bank, so on and so forth. And the 10th largest holding is PNB Capital. And in fact, 5 out of the 6 fixed price unit trust funds offered by ASNB, their largest holdings are all in Maybank. So essentially, if you have any holdings in any of these funds except ASB3, you are practically investing the majority of your funds in Maybank. But in the case of ASB3, right, within their top 20 largest holding, right, Maybank is not inside. So just take note about this. Now, so we're done with ASB ASM. Let's move on to another bank, which is Affin Bank. Now, the Sarawak state, they are planning to raise their stake in Affin Bank to around 30%. And this has obviously done wonders to their share price, which we'll have a look at it quite shortly. But let's take a look at the breakdown of Affin Bank's current shareholding. So the State Financial Secretary of Sarawak, which is the Sarawak government, they currently have a 4.8% stake in Affin Bank, or they're holding 112.5 million shares. The largest holder of this bank is LTAD, or the Armed Forces Board. They hold like a 28, close to 30% stake. Since the start of the year, Affin Bank has rallied by more than 23.15%. And for those of you guys who want to invest in the Malaysian market but not sure where, you take a look at ASB's investment strategy and you figure that, hey, might as well I just directly invest in Maybank, right? If you haven't opened a CDS account yet, you might want to consider using Rakuten Trade. Because Rakuten Trade, they offer Malaysian, US, and Hong Kong equities. So it's basically all in one. There's a lot of, you can invest in different types of stocks very easily over there. Alright, so that brings me to the end of my short and sweet presentation tonight. Meanwhile, let me just do a quick shout out to all our current members. Andrew, Wendy, Edward, Alex, Sissy, Rashad, Caveman Balls, Kelvin, Tommy, Jinkang, Adrian, Jazz, Wenyan, Dean, Duhan, Sufi, Faris, Alan, Jackson, Raizan, Hudson, G, Jeffrey, Lawrence, Lukman, Lufeni, Will, Jait, and Jack, as well as all of our learner members. Stay safe, guys. Bye. Good night.